One. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Symphony. We are here with the absolutely incredible Nic Rosenberg, and we are going to be discussing embodying a character, which, as one of my favorite performers in actual plays, I'm super excited to have Nic here. Most of you guys know this. I've said this to Nic to her face a few times, and I have like a massive crush on her because she's just so brilliant and so fun to interact with. So, we will get into more about that and all the reasons why after Nic takes the stage and introduces herself. Nic, tell us who you are, where we can find you, some of the things you can do, and really how you got to be so awesome.
Oh my goodness. Well, shut up. Okay, I'll try to. I might skip over the last part of that. No. Hi. Yeah, I'm Nic Rosenberg. I am a voice actor, and you can find me over at Ain't Slayed Nobody, an actual play podcast. Started out as a Call of Cthulhu podcast. Still do a lot of Cthulhu, Cthulhu Dark, and also branching out into some other systems. It's good stuff. We do improv games. I encourage everyone to check it out. And I'm sure many
Yes.
Symphony people already are part of the crossover because you, Bridgett, are also a major contributor over there. Always wonderful. So good. Yeah, that's me.
Oh, you really are
Yeah.
going to skip that last one, aren't you? That was bold. That was bold. You said you were going to do it, and then you stuck to your landing. That was well
Yeah,
done, Nic.
I'm a man of my words. I don't just
Oh God, I love it. I love it. Okay. So Symphony, we haven't done one of these in a while, mostly because I haven't had my shit together, and I allegedly still don't. But we're working through it. We're working through it. But one of the things we typically do with these coaching scenes is I spin up some random role play scene, throw our guest into it, and then we kind of use that, if we can, as kind of a point of reference for what we're working with. So Nic, I'm just gonna create a character with you. I'm going to
Sure.
scene with you for all of maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 30 seconds.
Sure.
We'll see what happens and we'll rock out from there. So
Excellent.
let's build, let's build, let's build, let's build. I feel like we should stay with horror because horror makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
That's where we hang out a lot.
Yeah.
I am working on a story in the background right now, a story pitch that has to do with a farm and a grain silo. So I have farm on the
Ooh.
brain right now. So talk to me, Nic. Who are you playing today in this quick scenario that either lives or works on a farm somewhere in middle of nowhere, America, modern day?
Okay. I think that the let's say the youngest daughter of the family that lives and works on that farm, or the family that owns the farm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's going to be someone who big families always end up everybody pitches in, everybody
Mm-hmm.
helps out. But I think that she's got dreams of going other places.
Okay.
She wants to get out. Yeah, she it's she loves her family and she doesn't want to disappoint them, and so it's this conflict between you know, not wanting to let them down, but also wanting to see what else is out there, you know?
Oh, no, this is good. So, youngest daughter, massive family, all hands on deck into the farm, but I'm hearing some wanderlust. She's curious about, what happens off the farm in other states and other places and things of that nature.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I like this. I like this. Just really fast. How many siblings does she have? And then let's give her a name.
She's got 5 siblings.
Okay.
She's got 2 brothers and 3 sisters.
Okay. Okay. Two
Big old
brothers,
family.
three sisters. She is the youngest. What's her name?
Oh, this is one of those things. Names are
Hmm.
always the hardest.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
I think she's got a name that starts to skew towards the whimsical for a farmer. It's gonna be something like, you know what, Annabelle. I think Annabelle's a good one.
Annabelle is good. I like Annabelle. Okay. Annabelle, it weirdly fits exactly what I see in my head, too, which is absolutely amazing. And how old will we say Annabelle is at the present day?
At present day, I'm gonna put her at 19 years old.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's also that's a nice, interesting dynamic because 19, given anywhere else in America, she'd probably be out the house by now. So she wants to leave, but she's still at home even at 19 as the youngest.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
Oh, okay.
probably, let's say father's sick,
Okay.
and her brothers are out there, they're taking over.
Mm-hmm.
They have to kind of pick up where he's left off, and so a of the care of her father and her mother fall to the sisters, and since she's the youngest, a lot of that falls to her too.
I like this. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So, Annabelle, I'm going to drop you into all of just a very quick rapid fire scene. Let's go. Annabelle, it is the middle of the night. You have been lulled to sleep or drawn, pulled to sleep by a combination of two things: the rolling thunder that's softly coming in outside, that comes with those little sparks of lightning, and then also three doors down, just the breathy cadence of your father trying to breathe. The coughing that eventually kind of subsides into like the gasping, and then that mellow. You've got both of those audio tracks almost playing simultaneously. So it's not a peaceful lull to sleep. There's also being dragged to sleep, but you're exhausted. It's been a long day. And there's a massive flash of light in your room that is way too bright to be lightning. It's something else. And it's momentary, but it is enough that it springs you out of whatever mid REM sleep that you were getting ready to go into, Annabelle, and whatever pet, dog, cat, whatever was in your room on your bed at the time, yelps and scurries out of the room. And you can feel yourself being drawn to something outside of your window.
Uh, I think kind of bleary eyed. Yeah, Annabelle gets up and I think there's maybe even a sense of foreboding starts to walk, but not
Mm,
run over to the window.
okay. You run over to the window, Annabelle, and the one of the grain silos is directly inside of your view. You never did have the best view in the farmhouse, but you were the youngest child. It is what it is. And outside, you see several of the farm lights, just like the exterior lighting that's there, and you see a silhouette of what has to be your oldest brother, whose name is
Uh, Eddie.
Eddie. I like that. Eddie he's climbing, and from what you can tell from this distance, it looks like he's in his overalls. It looks like he has a hat on, which doesn't really make any sense for this time of night. And you can see him climbing up the side of the grain silo. He steps onto the outer lip and he's walking around, and you know that it was Eddie. You know
Yeah.
that Eddie has a history of sleepwalking, but he hasn't done that in 10, 15 years.
Oh, but I think that instinct kicks in. She's out the door, and chasing after him. She's got to make sure he's okay. She's got to, you know, um, there's that myth that you're not supposed to wake up people that are sleepwalking, but that's not completely true. And if he's up that high, the risk is greater of a fall. Yeah. So just running out.
Okay. Down the steps, out the screen door, it bangs behind you, down the creaking steps. You even skip that second to the last step that you know is the broken stair that everyone needs to replace, but you guys haven't gotten to it. Like, wasn't Eddie supposed to handle that? Were you going to handle it? How does that stair keep getting missed?
I mean, I might just take care of it tomorrow myself, but focus up. I gotta go get him down from there.
Okay. You are breakneck speed running, and you reach the base of the grain silo, and you're looking straight up yards into the air, and it looks like you can't really see his face because it's obscured in the crisp night air, but it looks like Eddie is just looking back down at you. You guys are kind of suspended in a moment where you're both staring at each other. He doesn't speak and he doesn't move, but you can tell, like, just from his silhouette, his shoulders are slumped, his arms are hanging low, and he's just looking down at you.
Eddie, I'm gonna come up there, okay? Start climbing the ladder.
Okay. Eddie doesn't move. You start climbing the ladder. Are your palms wet?
I think that they might be starting to sweat a little bit. As she's coming back to herself from sleep or from the whatever twilight she happened to be in, and her mind is unfuzzying.
Mm-hmm.
uh, she thinks, oh, I should have woken somebody else up. Oh, how am I going to get him down by myself? Um, and so she's climbing up while trying to keep an eye on him and also trying to organize her thoughts.
Okay. Okay. You catch the top of the rim. Your right hand slips just a bit, just from the moisture in your palm, but you're able to steady your grip, and you're peeling up over the lid. You are using your left hand to use that last handlebar to pull you up, and you're reminded of a childhood memory with Eddie. What is that childhood memory?
They were down at the lake. They were on the pier, and I think that because she's the youngest, she was kind of bullied in that way that siblings do by
Mm-hmm.
her two of her older sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Since she's the youngest, they're all older, I guess. Two of her sisters, and they had pushed her off the pier while she was still learning to swim, and so
Oof.
she was struggling, she was panicking, she forgot everything that she had learned, and she thought she was going to drown, and then she felt like a hand grab her just kind of roughly by the strap of by the strap of her bathing suit,
Mm-hmm.
and when she came out of the water, she like raises her head, things start to clear, and it's Eddie there, and he's pulling her out, and is concerned while her sisters are over at the edge of the pier, kind of just laughing.
Oh. And Annabelle, that's the sensation that you feel on that last pull. It's not you pulling yourself up. It's Eddie who has grabbed into your nightgown and is pulling you the rest of the way up onto the silo. And he wraps his arms around you in a massive hug, and he looks at you and he says the same words that he said to you when he pulled you out of that lake, which was
You're okay, baby. I got you.
he looks to you. He says, "You're okay, baby. I've got you." And he's awake. He's
Eddie,
awake.
Eddie, well, what the hell are you doing up here?
It's okay, baby. I've got you. We'll fall
Oh,
together. And then I'm going to end there.
oh my gosh. Bridgett! What the hell? What happens? I
Right.
have to
We
know.
need to know. Okay, so let's jump into embodying a character. I am just going to immediately point out a handful of things that I noticed during this encounter as just pure spaghetti at the wall, and then we can jump into
Sure.
these alleged questions that we actually have set up
Okay.
on this document. So, Nick, you and I were conversing, we were going back and forth, but the second I teed you up for a character and I gave you the area, one of the things I noticed that you did, you closed your eyes. I don't know if that was a visualization tactic and an immersion tactic. We can totally talk about it, but you closed your eyes until the entire setup was out. And then I gave you everything you wanted about, or I gave you an open arena. What do you want from this character? Just make sure they live on a farm or work on a farm. And you immediately changed your voice. Even though Nick was discussing the character, you immediately found the voice for that character. You started describing things in that character's voice, and you immediately started embodying with the I. You weren't doing she, you were doing I, which is totally interesting. I have a whole other video on third person and first person ways to role play. Um, let's dive in. Those are just the initial things that I noticed with, like, I wonder how Nick embodies a character with me just watching you do it.
Yeah. Normally that work would be done kind of like there would be at least a little bit of it done like before sitting down at the table or kind of like, sitting down in front of the camera. So it was interesting doing that like live, knowing
Yeah,
that
doing
people
it
would
live in
see
the
it.
moment. And it was cool because, like, you and I do role playing games a lot, and we do improv games a lot. But usually, I'm
Yeah.
not sitting up here doing a scholastic review. It's like, I wonder how Nick is going to embody this character because I'm trying to figure out how the fuck I'm going to do it too. So
Yeah, exactly.
let's start it out, baby. What does embodying a character mean to you?
To me, it means being able to confidently speak for a perspective that isn't necessarily my own. It's not
Okay.
completely removed from my own experience all the time, but it is kind of shortening the distance between asking the question like, well, what would my character do, and coming to an answer. Like that's
Oh.
kind of where we get to. Yeah.
Oh. Oh, Jesus, I wasn't prepared for something that delicious. Wow. Okay,
Oh.
so shortening the distance between what would my character do and actually doing it. Brilliant. Okay. Um, how did you go about simultaneously creating and embodying Annabelle in this moment?
I usually go for I need something that's kind of the touchstone.
Mm,
I because I've done voice acting stuff, voices and dialects are something that I feel relatively comfortable with, and so oftentimes that's an immediate thing that can take me out of it. Although we the idea that you have to do voices, especially for these role playing games, I would like to say the same thing that everybody is starting to say, which is you don't have to do voices. You
yeah.
don't have to do dialects to do it. It's just for me, that's something that helps me kind of get to a
Mm-hmm.
character. Yeah.
What do you think that dialect was that you slipped into? Was that like Midwestern American that you kind of slid into? What was your thought process there? Or did you like how did you hear that voice in your head?
Farm kind of immediately takes me to some place like either the South or kind of the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel more comfortable with the South just because I've spent time there. So yeah,
Yeah.
American South. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, because Nick, it was really fucking cool. Like I'm asking you out of character questions, and you're answering with that voice. So that voice chimed in. I was like, oh, okay, got it. I think that's part of the reason when you called her by name, I was like, I can actually see her in my head right now as Annabelle. That
Yeah.
works.
I'll say that like usually at the table, and this is why it's kind of interesting being like talking it out at additional. You'll have to forgive me, Bridget. My
Oh,
mouth, it does
listen,
not want to cooperate with my brain.
words are doing things simultaneously, and then
What
we
is
just left a
happening?
high intensity role play moment too. So,
What happened, Daddy? No, but when I'm playing at the table, usually I will not do all of that. Like I'll usually
mm.
do character and third person stuff. If I'm speaking as me, I won't do the voice, just to kind of keep it clearer between when I'm asking the keeper or the GM a question.
Yep.
Like it's so much easier to know if it's in or out of character. But in this instance, yeah, the uh it just kind of all came together. I have some family stuff that I'm currently dealing with, and so making family relationships the ones
Mm.
that are the foundations for a character. It's very easy for me right now just because I'm constantly in that complexity of siblings and parents and all those types of relationships. So,
Yeah.
um yeah, I think that that's actually something that I will do a lot too for embodying a character. Is like I don't need to be 100% different in my characters than who I am.
Oh,
That and I think a lot of
yes.
people, yeah, a lot of people tend to bring a bit of themselves into their characters. But even the things that you are currently dealing with, if it feels safe and it doesn't kind of like knock you sideways, that can be a good way to help give you some sort of grounding so you can go off and do other interesting things, you know.
Wow, that was well articulated, babe. And you brought your receipts with it too, because you started off saying like you're comfortable with doing different voices and accents and dialects, which was one of the reasons you tapped into something you were comfortable doing, which is great when you're on the fly and you haven't had any prep. You can go to what's comfortable for you. What's on your bandwidth right now is family stuff. So it was very easy for you to tap into something familiar to kind of like launch board this off. That's actually good
Yeah.
advice.
All of it comes down to there's
Is there a
I
dog? What's
like
going
your
on?
I like no I liked your there's like a little bubble with a thumbs up sign in it.
Oh,
I felt
yeah.
I felt validated. Yeah, it's
Yes.
it's awesome.
Damn Apple streaming. I'm sitting up here like, what
So
is there a
good.
dog somewhere up here? What happened?
Oh no, the one thing that distracts me no matter what is a dog
It's a
or a
dog.
thumbs up. And now that I've completely forgot the question that you just asked, I
Uh,
apologize.
you don't have to be completely different than who you are. The similarities of what you already have, jump in and go from there. Yeah. I made the statement that dialects are comfortable for you. You went that direction. You've got family things going on. You went that
Yeah.
direction. Did that re-tee you up at all?
It couldn't have been that important. I you know. Um yeah, but I I think that comfort is the this is what I was gonna say. Haha.
Haha, we
Comfort
found it.
is
You
the
got it.
is one of your best tools for embodying a character. Like
Mm,
being comfortable, being confident in the choices that you're making, the things that you're saying, um, and making things more easily accessible is one way that I kind of get to that comfort and that confidence. It's like, especially if we're talking about horror or if we're talking about any genre where we know we're going to be dealing with strong emotions,
yeah.
um, that's one way that I can do it, is by using the things that I know make me emotional, you know?
Yeah.
So
Well said. Well said. It's I feel like that's your mileage will vary, or one of those things that comes with either
100%.
practice or conditioning on how far you want to touch on those, to your point, your touch tones, or the things that are sensitive to you when you're embodying a character. Because I know in a lot of high immersion role play environments, which really lend themselves to horror, those lines can get kind of funky really fast when you're right here.
Oh yeah. And especially if you're uh, there's a real danger too, in getting really really personal and like mirroring your experiences one for one. um Sometimes these games have like interpersonal conflict,
Yeah.
and if you're embodying a character that is essentially you, you can get to a place where it can start to feel like you're being attacked, because
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, so it very much is that your mileage may vary, and again, all of this is how I kind of get to the place where I need to be. But I think that that's dependent on how your mind works, and
Mm-hmm.
how your emotions work, and are you typically like an introvert, an extrovert? All of those things play and come into play, and I don't think that there is a one size fits all
Yeah.
answer to how to do this right.
Yeah, it's almost like that custom suit. It's no, it's not how to do it right. It's how it does right for you. How you do it right for you.
Yeah, yeah.
No, because you said something about you have to be comfortable in what you're doing. That way, you're comfortable in the actions that you're taking. You're comfortable in the things that your character is saying, and how that overlap with you can be really helpful. And Nick, that rang a bell for me because I know when I first got into like professional podcasting, actual play, I would try to embody these characters that were very, very, very atypical Bridgett, which is great. That's a great challenge. It's a great fun. It's fun to explore perspective, but I never actually got comfortable in a lot of those characters early on, and that discomfort in me me not knowing, me not having confidence or being comfortable in their decisions or the things they would say, negatively impacted not only my performance but my enjoyment of the game because I was trying too hard. So I think
Yeah,
that was great advice, like, be comfortable with whatever character you're in.
because the thing is, you're going to be doing you are when you're playing these games, you are thinking the thoughts of two people, the player and the character, right?
Uh-huh.
And sometimes those thoughts are going to be exactly the same, and sometimes they're going to be different. And managing all of that is challenging.
Yeah.
So as much as you can do to kind of relieve the load of one of those two sides at any given moment, it's going to help, I think, in general.
Oh, good balance on that one. Yeah, how much of which is driving is interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well done, well done, well done. All right. So, Nick, can you talk us through what are some of the methods that you use to embody a character?
Yeah. Well, so voice is one that we've kind
Mhm.
of already talked about, and I do want to point out that, like, again, dialects are very obvious, and they're like it's very clear when you're playing a character or not. But if you can't do dialects, things like changing your cadence, or
Uh-huh.
changing the way that you enunciate things, right? Like someone who hits all their consonants is going to come off very differently than someone who's just kind of more loose with their language, right? Like there's little things that you can do with your voice to kind of create a character through your vocally. Um, I know that physicality for me is really helpful as
Mhm.
well. So if it's a shy character, like think about the types of things that a shy character do. I'm a fidgeter, so fidgeting in a way that corresponds to characters. This is so strange. This is so strange. But like, a more introverted character would probably do things more like fidgeting with hands. A more extroverted character might like fidget with things externally. I don't know. These little tricks, little tricks.
Oh.
Um, another when I have time, this is not really for improv stuff, but music is really important for me just in
Okay.
my life. And so creating character playlists that I can listen to as I walk my dog and stuff like that is another way. Um, and then just kind of like speaking in the voice around the house, responding to my life as the character sometimes. This is weird stuff
Really?
too. If you live with people, this might not be as practical. You might feel more self-conscious.
It also might be the best thing ever for whomever you're living with. That could be amazing.
Yeah, lots of content for their TikTok. So
Right. Right. Oh, okay. No, you've opened the door. Now I have to. I'm not even going to slide through it. I'm going to put my foot in it and just.
sure,
Can you give me
kick it
just one
down.
example of a character that you embodied and which you were interacting with in your house when you did it?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. So I have a character. This is actually just a recent one. I have a character who's very arch and uses humor as a like a defense mechanism,
Mm-hmm.
but it really is like just kind of sarcastic, tries to keep people out by not showing like fear or sadness or any kind of like negative emotion, but also is not like especially people pleasing. So like if I'm cleaning or doing something which is not like a fun task, like just being annoyed as that character, like I was doing dishes the other day and, was just kind of complaining out loud as the character. Because it was the kind of thing, and just trying to like, because the way that she complains to me, it would be, she's trying to find really biting ways, like she's being sarcastic, she's trying to be clever, she's trying to be very pointed about things. And a bit like she'll try to rile people up. So, thinking
Oh.
through in those moments when I have a lot of space to think, okay, well, how would she phrase this? How would, yeah. So,
Oh my God, I
that
love you
gets
doing
me,
dishes as this character, talking shit about doing dishes as that character.
yeah. Well, because inevitably what happens is like as I'm just kind of speaking in this character's voice outside of a game or outside of a performance or anything,
Yeah.
eventually, especially for improv, I'll hit on like a phrase or a way of saying something that I will end up using in, in the game, in the performance.
Right.
And it's there because I've already thought it. I've already kind of workshopped it a little bit. So it's just there and that helps in the moment too of like, oh, this character has more thoughts than just like what's the mystery we're trying to solve right now.
Yes. Okay, that's dope. I nope, one no judgment, no notes. That's actually dope. Um wow, that's actually dope. And it's interesting because I have found myself doing something similar but with no intentionality. Like I might be, I don't know, folding laundry or going from one place to another, and I start thinking about a character or a scene or what would happen if this happens to the character, and then I'll start like running through those thoughts in my head. But
Yeah.
um a couple of times I've even done it out loud, but I think that was just more like it hit my brain pan. I needed to do something with it. But
Yeah.
taking an intentional moment to be like, no, let me go ahead and embody this character in this moment to refresh myself with her. It's really good advice.
Well, it's also like dishes are boring.
Yeah.
It's, and I didn't have a podcast in or anything, so it's like, it's yeah, it's like it's a fun way to just let your brain idle as well.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh gosh. Okay, okay, okay. I love it. This is a random question that's not on our sheet, but I'm curious. On
Yeah.
any given time, how many characters, ongoing characters, do you have running through your brain at a time that you're actually playing? Because I know you do a shit ton of work all over the place, and I've seen you do dozens of characters. But any given time, how many do you think you have running around?
I think the most is kind of like a half dozen. I like to focus on just a few at a time, so
Yeah.
like two or three are if I'm really trying to dig into like a specific character. If there's one that's like if it's a one-shot game,
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I need to do as much
Yeah.
work as like when we're doing a full campaign, especially campaigns like so. Jason Cordova is running the Between for us at Ainslade. Woohoo! Coming soon. Um,
Yes.
and those characters are like they're messed up, and so there's a
Yeah.
lot to think about to make sure that they're not just caricature that they're not so unbelievable or so out of reach and inaccessible that you can't relate to them at all.
Right.
Yeah. So I spend a lot of time with that character. Whose name is
Interesting.
Viola.
I, oh, I'm really looking forward to hearing this, by the way.
It's gonna
Oh.
be so Josephine McAdam is in that. And Cup and Scott Dorward are also in that. It's been a lot of fun playing.
Holy hell, what a cast.
Yeah.
Josephine, Cup, Doherty, and you. Oh,
Yep.
God. And Jason is running that one too?
Yep. He's amazing. Oh my goodness. He's so good.
Coming soon. They ain't slayed nobody, baby. God, me. Wow, that damn cast is intense. Okay, okay. Allegedly getting back on subject, which this is an
Sure.
allegedly. One of the questions we have here is how does your character embodiment change when you're streaming, podcasting, performing live, or not performing at all? Like if you're just hanging out with your friends, does that change for you?
Let's see. Well, anything live, anything where it's like an in-person game or
Mm-hmm.
anything, the physicality becomes a lot more important.
Yeah.
Um, and then also I'm not doing it right now, and I have kind of gotten out of this habit a little bit, but standing up when we're recording, that kind of thing really can help as well, and that kind of gets back to the physicality. Um, for honestly, for things like podcast versus streaming, it's a question of how much am I doing in character versus how much am I doing out of character. With streaming, when you have access
Mm-hmm.
to all of my facial expressions and all of my gestures,
Yep.
I'll do more in character
Mm-hmm.
and try to really like live in that. When it's podcasting, you got to be more descriptive. It's an audio format, right? So you just gotta
Right.
you're explaining things more, and that's often easier to do like not in the character. So I
Oh,
think,
that's a good point.
yeah, in yeah, and then in terms of with friends, I don't know that if I'm just like when I'm doing home games, I don't think I change that much actually. I think I am as intense and insufferable in my home games as I am when we're streaming. People are
I
like,
know, but
I've
you get it either way. Either way.
well, yeah, I've gotten the feedback in some of my in-person games that it seems like I take it very seriously. It's like, well, like, that's just me.
Like, it's just me. I don't turn this awesomeness off for you. You kidding me? Nah, I'm gonna shine all the goddamn time. Watch me go. That's a good thing I never thought about, Nick, is the idea, like, if I am I don't know, if I'm performing and cams are on, especially if I'm doing like a live stream, yeah, this becomes a lot more important if you're grabbing, catching your now, if the cams are off, I don't have a bra and I'm hanging out, I might not be going through those motions as much because you can't see me.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
that's not as necessary. But then there are times I know for a fact that I have done it when the cams are off. I'm playing a character now on another podcast that is very rational, very logical, like very unbothered yoga instructor. And Bridgett is really struggling right now to sit inside that character full time. So even though the cams were off and it's podcast only, anytime my character spoke, I would straighten my posture and I would like come here for like I'm doing a very centering moment so I could really focus my energy on not being hyper overactive. No one can see that, but like me hanging out here, I wasn't able to get like, oh, this is my cool nonchalant because I'm still me. So yeah, the
Yeah.
physicality helps depending on your mileage will vary on what helps you embody that moment in that character.
I think that it's funny because like one of the things that I've noticed in all kinds of games is that like people are hesitant to really lean into things like anger, really heightened emotions,
Oh, yeah.
because it's hard to go from like, I'm just describing my character like picking up a baseball bat to being like, this is what they scream as they're swinging it at your head. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's hard to jump from a 1 to a 10. Um
Yep.
yeah, and the physical stuff can really help with that. I mean, like if you're playing somebody angry, like just like ball your fists up, like try to put energy into your body.
Yeah.
I find that really helps. I think that because we do a lot of podcasting, or we do a lot of audio stuff, not video stuff. This doesn't get seen a lot, but when I'm about to enter, if I'm listening to a scene or if I'm describing something, I'm in the chair. If it's my turn, I start to lean forward a little bit. Like you got to give yourself a little bit of space to move.
Yeah.
So 100% think the physicality is a great way to get to a character.
Yeah. 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 And it's one of those things, guys. If you're comfortable, if you're safe, feel free to lean into it. Because it might feel dumb in a moment, but it looks really cool.
And it
It
just
can
takes
look so cool.
it's like when one person breaks the seal, when one person like goes there first, it makes it easier for other people to do it too. And here's
Agreed.
the thing is like you might feel stupid doing the voice or stupid like doing something physical,
Yeah.
but just watch, other people will start doing it too.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Once the seal is broken, it's just like, okay, that's safe. It's comfortable. It's cool. Okay, let me start exploring, different aspects of this character too through my
Yeah.
voices or my accents or yeah. Nope. Nope. Fair. Great point. Great point. Um Nick, this is especially specific to you because just in listening to you over time, and then I also know the Ain't Slay Nobody recording schedule can vary. when you are playing characters inconsistently, either the once a month or once every other week or things like that, how do you reconnect with those characters? What are the methods you use to re-embody a character that you haven't been sitting in for 2 weeks, a month?
Um, yeah, so some depending on the game, sometimes even if it's been a month since I've played, the character never really actually leaves my mind. If it's an engaging game,
Yep.
they're still there. I'm still thinking about them. Um, actually, one of the things for these games specifically, so this is not something that you use for any kind of other performance, but like often just thinking about the story and thinking about the action that the character wants to take is enough. Like next time
Oh.
we meet, I definitely want to talk to this person about this because like either the character's like really mad about something or it's important for the mystery, and then just kind of remembering that and remembering what they want, what the
Yeah.
character wants is a good way to reconnect. But then also, like practicing the voice. Please excuse me, my dog is.
Hey, baby. What is that baby doing?
Oh goodness, this is. I don't know what she's doing.
She says, I'm embodying a character, Mom. Duh.
She's embodying the character of a puking dog.
Oh,
Here.
no, no. Oh, my God. Oh, God.
I think she just had something stuck in her throat. Sorry.
No, you're okay. Is she okay? Listen, as dog
Puking.
friendly as we are right here, she okay?
She seems okay.
Little one. What going on? What you got in your yuck yucks? You got something in your throat?
Oh, oh. Okay. Well, I'm so sorry, Bridget.
I
This
don't
is
care
probably
at
good
all.
watching. This is good
This is prime
video.
television. Are you kidding me?
Okay, well, you got some stuck in your throat, Bubble?
I said, yeah. Do we feel better?
Oh, she's okay. She's going to lay down. We've averted disaster.
My poor So what did she do? Did she come up and like yak at you?
Yeah, she was just kind of like, I don't want to make the sound in case anyone
As like
is
the
uncomfortable.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we did
Yeah, but she was
the
just kind
yak.
of gagging a little bit. Yeah. Bubble. It sounds like if a dog's trying to clear their throat without coughing.
Yep. Yep.
It's okay, Bubba.
Is she go lay down?
Well, now she's standing back up. Come on, pup.
She's like, listen, I'm embodying a character too right now, Mama.
Yeah. She's like, I don't. I'm committed. I'm
I
committed
mean,
to this bit.
right.
Okay. Anyway,
Oh no, I love
I'm
it.
so sorry.
No, don't
What?
apologize. You are good. Listen, one, this is like amazing hangout time too right now. I'm actually also
Oh yeah.
surprised that with me baby talking your child and none of mine walked in. I think all three of mine was like, you can go to hell.
Oh, they can sense
Pure
another
attitude.
dog is being addressed.
I was like, what is she flirting with another child? Ugh, the disrespect. No, 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 you're so good. So the last thing you were on was a good way to reconnect with a character you haven't played in a while is to remember their last action, the things that they wanted to do, and then the big one you said was like what that character wants. It's an immediate reconnect for you.
Yeah. And that kind of goes back to the idea of like, if you're trying to play a character, you I think common advice that you hear in like an acting class is like don't play an emotion, like play an action or an objective. So like don't be sad, right? Like don't try to be sad.
Okay.
Try to like whatever, maybe sad's the wrong, or don't play angry. That's probably the better one.
Okay.
It's like go after what it is that the character wants, right? So if there's somebody else in the party or at the table or an NPC or something that's like stymieing your efforts,
Yeah.
then just keep pushing. You don't have to like play like you are. If you don't feel frustrated, if your character doesn't feel frustrated, if
Right.
you can't access that, then you don't have to play it. Um, but going back to the actual like reconnecting
Huh.
with the character, yeah, I mean it's like it's one of those things that doesn't make sense until it makes sense.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's easier to kind of differentiate between those two things when you have the example right in front of you.
Yeah.
So I apologize for not being able to brainstorm a better one right now.
No, you're good. And if you can see me, I'm like rapidly trying to run behind you and thinking about this right now. So if we do sad or anger, let's go anger. So because that's a really common thing I think a lot of new players do and even veteran players do. They try to embody or express the emotion. but not the act. What did you say? It's try to go after the action or the objective. What was the articulation?
Yeah, action objective. I mean, there are other things. It's basically like when you're moving through your life,
Mm-hmm.
and you are encountering situations, you're not thinking like I want to be mad right now. Or like, maybe you do. I don't know your life. But you're like what you're thinking is like I want to, like get this meal and this person is preventing me from doing it. And so
Right.
now I'm getting mad, but I'm not like trying to get mad. Anyway.
You're right. No, 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 no. You're 100% right. I mean, unless it's, again, where I'm not trying to read nobody else's life or how you interact with your emotions. Because there
Yeah.
are moments when you're just like, nope, I need to embody my grief or my sadness or I need to sit with my joy, whatever.
Yeah.
But if I'm frustrated because, I don't know, my brother won't come down off of the silo and he's arguing with me, I don't, I, at no point am I like, I want to be angry and frustrated right now. No, I want his dumb ass to come down and I'm frustrated. So that's a good point. I've never
Because the
heard
other
it said
part,
that way.
this is like this is like highfalutin acting. It's, don't
Listen,
play the emotion. Anyway,
so
but
professional.
yeah, I I'm not a professional. I just play one on TV. Um, but yeah, well, that thought has also exited my brain.
Oh, that's okay. Listen, the baby was yakking. We are where we are. It's completely fine. Okay, so for a 15-minute recording, we've already gone 40 minutes because you're a damn delight to talk to. I know.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
I would this time flies with you, Bridgett, all the time. Seriously.
No, I love you to death. Literally, guys, I was like, all right, Nick, we're going to do 15 minutes. We're going to go high value. And we're going to get out of here. And then Nick made the mistake of going, it's like, oh, no, I'll talk with you for as long as, and 2 hours later, here the fuck we are.
I one thing I did want to, if we're winding down, I did
Yeah, hit us.
one of the last questions that we were talking about was what tools would you recommend to better embody a
Yes.
character? If you have access to it, truly, and this is going to sound like if you can get to an improv class, especially long form improv, as opposed to more improv games like you might see on like Whose Line Is It Anyway or those types of things. If you can get to an improv class where the goal is to kind of like learn about like genuine reaction, like honest reaction,
Yeah.
that is amazing because there are skills that you'll learn there that will help you find your way to get to a character and then kind of like stick with it to make
Oh.
interesting choices. The more the more the more trouble your character gets into, the more deeply embedded they are into a story, the more the easier it's going to be to connect to them. If they're living in the world that's being created for you, the access to them, well, for me anyway, the access to them becomes like incredibly easy, because it's not just me that's carrying that load. It's like
Mm-hmm.
the entirety of the world and all of the history that's like happened in it with that character. So but yeah, improv class, that was it.
Holy
Take improv
shit.
classes.
That is actually really good. Oh wow. Okay. And I'm gonna let you get off this damn recording. That was one of the things I think I made a mistake on when I was like originally getting into this. I started taking a bunch of improv classes to kind of boost my confidence, and I thought it was gonna help in areas that it didn't. What it did was do amazing things for my confidence and made me realize that breaking the seal is completely fun, and
Yeah.
no one. It's literally what's the worst that's gonna happen.
Well,
Like it's
there's like
okay.
yeah, and some of the habits that you'll learn, or some of the technique, not even techniques, but the things like mistakes are
Yeah,
gifts.
our
that's
gifts.
where that's where brilliant stuff happens, is when
Yeah.
shit goes sideways.
Yep.
And then the other really important thing is like uh often your job in an improv scene is to make everybody else on stage with you look good.
Let's
That's your
say it
job.
again.
It's not to be Yeah, it's not to be funny. It's not to like be the star. It's you lift up everyone else on stage with you. You give
Yep.
them prompts, you listen to what they're saying, and if they're doing the same thing for you, everybody wins.
Everyone
So,
wins.
yeah.
Oh God, Nick, that right there. That yes, everyone wins. And guys, that's the yes and that's the beauty of being in an improv situation. It's the exact same damn thing when you're storytelling in a game.
Yeah.
If you make sure your GM looks good, everyone looks good. If you make sure the rest of your players look good, everyone looks good. You look good. But it comes with the intentionality of actually focusing on other people around you instead of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Human nature, we know that's not a default for a lot of us.
You know.
We're
I
put
get
here
it.
to survive. I'm not even judging us for it. It is who we are. But
Yeah,
if you can take
yeah.
that step back,
It's true.
If you can take that step back, really beautiful things can happen, especially in high immersion, especially in horror environments.
Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
Nick,
Yes.
any final thoughts about embodying a character and any plugs that you want to go through?
Final thoughts. Truly, your mileage may vary. Things that
Yeah.
work for some people are not going to work for you. Anyone who comes to you and is like, "This is what you should do. This is the one way." Just, take it with a grain of salt always.
Yeah.
The best way to get good at this kind of stuff is to just keep doing it, keep trying, be open to feedback,
Yeah.
just learn to listen in various ways. Yeah. That's I think the biggest thing. It takes time.
Yeah. It takes time and practice. And it takes you actually jumping out there and doing the thing, guys. So get out there and do the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh God, Nick, you're just there's a reason why you're my girl crush of the year. So tell us, where can we find you? And you already teased us out one amazing thing that's coming from Ain't Slay Nobody. You got any other teasers on the horizon that you're able to give us?
I think I might even just get in trouble with that one, but like,
Sorry, Cup.
sorry, Cap.
Cup, we love you.
Yeah, in terms of where you can find me, seriously, Ain't Slayed Nobody.
Yeah.
Actual play podcast. It's good. And yeah, I highly recommend it. And
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
not just because I'm in it, also because it's good stuff. It's ostensibly horror, but it's one of my favorite things, which is like goofballs in horrible situations, just getting what's coming to them.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Yeah, and what else could I tease? I mean, there's like the backlog is so it's so big now.
I
It's
know. And it's so funny because I'm in my head thinking right now, we did that new year, that end of the year retrospective, and we announced a bunch, or Cup announced a bunch of things that was coming down the pipeline. And I can't remember the things we can talk about. Cup, give me a list of the things we can address in the future, Cup. That's what I want.
Yeah,
I want a list of
itemized
talkable points.
updated. Well, yeah, because I think that already the schedule that we were going to release it's already changed. It's already different. Things have moved. It's a work in progress as always.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. That's fair.
But what I will say is, I can generally plug this. So we were just talking about like video versus audio.
Mhm.
It's Ain't Slayed podcast feed 100%. Also for our patrons on the Patreon, we're doing early releases of some of the scenarios. They will be unedited. Cup does amazing production work on stuff, but we release the videos early for some of these scenarios to patrons. We've done it with a scenario called Lakeview, which was released on the podcast feed. But if you want to see us be goofy, you want to see the raw unedited shit, please join the Patreon. Goodness.
No, hurt.
Yeah, you can see Dorward do his like laugh so hard he dips out of screen. It feeds me. It feeds me.
That is an absolutely brilliant perk to have, because I don't think you guys appreciate the 30 to 70 hours, I'm not being funny, per episode that Cup puts into editing an episode.
Goodness.
So if you enjoy that, definitely check out the raw unedited shit on the Patreon, because I can only imagine what has hit the cutting room floor, like a whole dog out of our series.
A whole dog. Just
a whole ass
dog.
Whole ass dog. Cup cut and didn't tell nobody, out of the Mississippi Shoreside Conservatory, currently playing and airing right now on Ain't Slay Nobody. Symphony, we love you. Nick, thank you for this brilliant 15-minute conversation.
Close to 15. Always a pleasure. Love the Symphony group, like the community that you've built. It's so amazing, and all of the stuff that you're doing. I am a huge fan. I'm not only president of the Bridgett Jeffries fan club, I'm also a member.
And with that, Symphony, we are closing her out. Nick, I love you. Thank you. Mwah. Bye, guys.
Love you too.